Okay, folks, my name is still Steven and I'm still part of the RedPoly designer team. Today we talk about meshes, or most specifically, how to customize them, how to understand them, how to kind of use a prefab mesh with templates and etc. etc. So those do two things you already know. This is a shadow map model, mesh model. This is a specular highlights model. We have two tutorials about specular highlights, shadows, etc. So this is a new thing here. It's two preview models textured with UV templates. Now, what exactly is the UV mapping? This is something that I like to talk about first. UV mapping is a 3D term, but this is the real world example. You have, for example, a card box, and if you unwrap this card box, you get a flat card box template that you can fold back to a card box. It's pretty much the same thing in 3D. You have a 3D model and you unwrap it or unfold it back to a 2D representation or a flat representation where you can paint and it will perfectly align to the model. For example, if I paint on this part of the model, you see, I will see my painting on this part of the card box. So this is what exactly is a 3D UV unwrapping. Okay, let's go back here and take a look at this mesh thing. It's 100% mesh, but when you see the statistic, you see 4 primitives and a cost of the 32. This 32 cost is actually some kind of a land impact thing. Since this is attachment, these things are completely irrelevant. Let's take a look at the construction of this. It's 4 prims, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 prims. These prims are a little bit more complex than a regular prim, but they share much more properties with a normal prim box, a standard prim, than with a sculptee. For example, take a look at this specific prim. It has 3 different colors, which means it has 3 different texture sides. Now, you know what is a texture side? Each one of those prim sides can be textured separately. It's pretty much the same thing with sculptees, with meshes, sorry. You can select select texture, you can select this part, this part, this part, and you can apply different texture on top of it. Now, you can do that, or you can take this combined texture and paint it with your own details. For example, you can paint this part, this part, this part, upload this whole texture, this combined texture, and set it to each one of those texture faces, and it will use only the part of the texture that is the same identical color. And this is very important. It's up to you how exactly you will use this, and it gives you very big chances to customize things. For example, you can create all those parts to be identical texture, but you can change the colors, so each one of those parts to be different color, or you can just paint on a single texture different colors. You have a lot of options, and you need to try this in order to understand it perfectly. This is just dry theory. So let's do something practical here. Let's take this platform and put it here, and let's open my inventory. I have some wood textures here prepared, and I can apply those texture. You see, I'm drag and drop those texture on different texture sides, and if I select this part and I say I want this to be 5 times by 5 times tiled. Let's take a look at this. You see, this part, this texture face have this specific texture and it's tiled 5 by 5, but this one doesn't. So if I select this and say 5 by 5 too, it will have identical texture density. Now, this is what exactly we do when we create unwrapping. You remember what unwrapping was. We go here, let's take a look at this. We go here and we create those strange looking things that are called shells, and they are stretched and positioned and sized in a very specific way, so you have zero stretching on this whole part, and they are positioned and created so you can just apply a texture on top of them and it will fit perfectly on the model. Okay, now you know what texture face is, and you know that the mesh model has multiple texture faces, so you can customize them. Let's create something different here. Let's go here and customize this part of the shoe. Okay, I'll go to Photoshop, and this is my template. Each one of those textures you have provided in our texture pack. So this is the specular map. This let's hide it. This is the shadow map, and this is the template. So you know that if you paint on the red part, on the top of the red part, you will see changes only on this red part here. Okay, so let's come back here, and I prepared a seamless denim fabric texture. Actually, I didn't prepare it, I found it on the internet. It's just a seamless denim fabric texture. So what I do is click Ctrl A to select all, and I go here to edit. In my Photoshop, I'll go to define pattern, and I'll call this pattern to be denim 3. Denim 3, so okay. And then I go to this cloth template. I forgot I need to use this in a cloth template. Let's take a look at this. It's shadow maps, specular maps, the template. Notice 3 colors. Go back here, let's take a look at this. 3 colors, color 1, color 2, color 3, or this is it, color 1, color 2, color 3. And let's go back here and let's go to the Photoshop. Fill this image with this pattern, so go to layer, new fill layer, pattern. It will ask her for a name, we don't care about this. Click OK. It will ask for the pattern. We choose the pattern, and this is the pattern I want to choose. And this is the scaling. It's important that you go back and create a nice scaling, 30% maybe, 40%. I like this 30%. Click OK. So we need to take this pattern here and put it on top of the template. We need to go on top of it and activate the shadow, and you have a lot of choices here, blending choices. You can blend this shadow layer in many different ways, but we will use the standard blending for this type of operations called multiply. And notice what we have here now. We have the pattern we selected, and on top of it we have shadows. Okay, let's add a specularity pass on top of this. Use a blending like linear dodge. Now it's a little bit hard here, these specular effects, so let's make them much smaller by changing the opacity. Okay, so far so good. We are ready here, and if we take this and save it to our desktop and re-upload it and apply it on this prim or on each part of those prims, you will get this nice looking denim texture. But I want to go even further. I want to add something on top of this. I want to add another layer, and I want to add some kind of a text, a custom text. But where I want to add this text, I want to add it right here in this portion of the shoe. First of all, we need to understand that some landmarks. We need to see some landmarks. We know we have these parts here that create shadows. and we know that this part is facing the light, and there is another part on the bottom that is not facing the light. And we want to know what the color of this. It's something like green. So go back here and take a look at our reference template. Now we know that this is the green part and we need to work on it. But if we apply on top of it the shadows, we will know that this part is covered with shadows, so this means it's on the bottom of this particular part. If you take a look at those, you will understand that this image is actually flipped, and this is my mistake. I'm sorry about this. So if I create a normal text here, it will be flipped horizontally. So I want to create the text, but I want to flip it. Okay. So I'll go here, and these two things indicates that I have shadows on those places, and those shadows came from these parts of the shoe. So I take this text tool here, and I create. Let's create a text. It's called red. Okay. We're creating the text on the wrong layer. I need to create it here. RedPoly. Oh, it's huge. Let's go back down here to something like double click to select it and go to something like 18 maybe. It's too big. Let's go to 12. Okay. Put it right above here. Again, go to text mode. Click it. Control Alt to select it. Let's make it red. It looks nice. Right click here. You have blending options, and just for fun I'll click drop shadow. It creates some kind of a shadow here, some kind of depth. So I tested this before, so I know I need to flip this particular layer, or I can flip the whole image, and I worked on flip image and then flip it back before upload. I'm sorry about this, it's completely my mistake. I will try to fix this in our next product. But I'll go here now, and I said transform and flip horizontally. Now this is a horizontal flip of this particular text. Okay, I'm done here. I will pause the video and I will upload this as a JPEG image. Okay, I'm back. I've uploaded the image. It's called close spec. So I can take this and I can upload it and I can apply it on a specific part of the shoe. See? And I set it on this very specific texture face here. Now I can put the same image on other texture faces that use this template or this UV map, and this is how it looks like. It's pretty cool. We have specular effects here. See, we have here specular effect, and here you can see them. They're very gentle. Very gentle. They look more like highlights. We have shadows here, here, and here, and they are visible too. But we were able to put a sign here, a text that looks pretty perfectly aligned. It's not stretched, and it looks pretty cool. And you can create all sorts of things. For example, you can take this and create your own stitching. Just by following the template, just by following this line here, the specific line or this line on the template, and you can create all sorts of customizations. Here specific, each one of those nails is a texture face, a separate texture face, and all of those use a single nail template.